So in this week's Q&A, we've got a question that I think will be very popular. So it's from Dan, and he's submitted a bit of an email here, but I'm just going to read the last chunk, which reads, my girlfriend doesn't want me to do it. He's been talking about going full time, but I'm making the same as my salary by trading evenings and weekends at the moment. I keep thinking if I had more time to trade the daytime races instead of being stuck at work, I might make more, and it's something I enjoy doing. I'm very tempted, but when is the right time to go for it? Warm regards, Dan. So thanks for your question there, Dan. It's one that's very popular. I'm sure it will be popular for a long time to come, because this point that you're approaching here is the point that many people watching this video will want to be in. Also, before I get into sort of like the important points around this question, I know the little comment you've made about your girlfriend there. You probably want to see what you can do to deal with that. That's a bit of a problem because it's going to provide friction. I've had different girlfriends in the past which have been testing, shall we say, very interesting characters. But if you're trading, right, it's a very busy thing. It takes a lot of your energy, and what I want to say is you can't really afford to have a busy personal life with a slightly more high maintenance girlfriend possibly, and have a busy work life as well. It's kind of like you need to sort of decide one or the other, and you need to find a way of dealing with that because they will conflict. So on to slightly more positive stuff. I remember going through that feeling myself. There's a whole load of different things that you'll be feeling right now. It's quite exciting on one hand, it's a little bit scary on another. There's lots to think about, and it can feel a little bit intimidating. And I think if I think back to when I was trading part-time and all of a sudden I was making more money part-time than I was at work, I understand that frustration. And I also felt the feeling of that you've mentioned there about you feel as though you're almost being robbed of your time, because if you was actually trading, you would be making more money. And that's possibly true, but I wouldn't get too hung up on that. So what I want to say is you need to prepare properly. Now, I'd done this, and a little while afterwards I was looking back on it and I was kicking myself because obviously I succeeded massively, and I was like, oh, all them extra months I could have had a whole load more money. But I think looking back on it, being a little bit older, a little bit wiser, that's a wrong way to look at things, So you want to prepare for the worst, you want to minimise your downside and maximise the upside, and if that means you lose out a little bit of time in the process and you have to go to work and you have to do it for a few more months, then so be it. It's better to be in a comfortable position to go full time before you do it, so it should be a more natural progression. I think the fact that you've kind of answered that, obviously you've seen the emails and stuff, and you've submitted that for the Q&A. But if you're burning and you're on the fence about that, then you're probably not quite ready just yet. So I would advise saving yourself up 3 months to 6 months worth of income that you'll need to get by comfortably from your trading part-time before you make the leap of faith, because once you do it, it's very hard to go back. Also, once you do it, you're going to feel, if you're excited and you're feeling a little bit buzzed up about it now, all them kind of feelings, it's going to intensify once you actually do it. So you want to have a steady amount in the background there for you. Also, you need to bear in mind with other things, technically you're not going to have a job. So if it comes to going down the bank or anything like that, or applying for anything or credit or any kind of things like that, you've got to bear in mind that you're going to have to turn around and say to people, yeah, I bet for a living, I don't have a job. And so you need to have a comfortable buffer in the background there to support you. Now, the reason that's so important is because we know that when you're trading, emotion is rife. And the more emotion you are, the worse you are in trade. There's like this pressure to perform, particularly if you've got things like dependents, stuff in the outside world, your girlfriend, and even more so if they're not fully supportive of it. So make sure you've got that comfortable buffer there for you, not for everybody else, for you, so that you'll be able to focus, see things clearly, do it at the right time, and actually make a success for it, and not have everything cave in on you and crumble. I've been through points very early on where I was highly stressed, even though I had the money even. So you should bear in mind that, you know, the stress may increase as well. And all of this doesn't sound great, but I'm giving you the worst case because I don't want you to make any mistakes. But all the stress of those extra things will creep in. And if you're not careful, then you'll find yourself stressing about it a little bit more, and that will seep into your trading. As I said, busy personal life, busy business life, busy trading life, whatever you want to call it. You don't want the two to be affecting each other, and you want that space, that freedom, that clarity, and a comfortable buffer behind you so that you can perform at your absolute very best. On top of that, I would advise making sure that you have a good routine, that everything's quite stable, you know, all the basic things like sleep and food and all that. You know, don't be going crazy partying and all of that. You need to spend a little bit of a period of time of maybe 3 to 6 months when you do make the leap to ensure that you know, it's kind of like it's fixed and you're comfortable with that before you start pushing the boundaries in other places, is what I'm saying. So going full time is a great thing. It's a very positive thing. Just make sure you're ready to do it. Make sure that you're prepared in advance. Be aware of the different issues that you're going to face. And like I say, if you're at a stage, honestly though, as well, if you're at a stage where you're making double or more and part-time than you are at your work, then you might want to take it a little bit sooner rather than later. It all depends on the numbers as well, but you will know ultimately yourself when it's a comfortable time to do it, because it will just be a steady progression rather than you taking this big risk and this big leap. Don't do that. And be very aware of all of the people around you, your environment, and all of the pressures that you've got existing, because they're going to get a little bit tougher for a short period of time until you're comfortably into that area of going, you know, I do this for a living and it's fine.